The November releases for Beyblade X are absolutely crazy. Night Mail, Multi's UX variant of the Night Beyblade. Not only that, but Scarlet Garuda, a height-changing Bey, and the one-hit killer, Samurai Saber. In this video, let's take a look at all three of the November releases and talk about the absolutely insane shit that we get to see. By the way, check out Mall of Beys. We have orders that are almost completely sold out for our first batch. Eventually, we'll restock with batch 2, which will come at a slightly later date, but an option way to support the channel. I appreciate any support regardless. And this is the part where I mention everything fucking comes out on like the first Saturday of November. Super early, to be honest. I was shocked. So I kind of want to start us off with kind of least to greatest. Scarlet Garuda is probably the weakest out of the three, which in fairness, all three of them at least are interesting in their own right. So Scarlet Garuda is a basic line balance type release. This actually is a homage to Dronzer in the same way that Cobalt Dragoon, Weiss Tiger, and Black Shell were homages to the original Bakutin shoot of Dragoon, Dronzer, Drasil, and all that stuff. So we finally do have our Dronzer homage, which I think is pretty cool. And the really interesting thing about this is gonna actually be the gimmick. So the gimmick on this is that it has a bit called TP. I think it's like transform point or trans point. But what it basically does is that you can height change to either low or higher height, which I think is super cool. And the fact it's equipped with a balance bit like point, which is already super good for attack, super versatile in combo building, where you can choose to have either, I guess, point at a low height or a taller height, which I think is really awesome and very innovative to see in Beyblade X. I think the overall blade of Scarlet Garuda, I'm not gonna, listen, maybe the star profile is gonna change my mind a little bit, and maybe if I look at it a little bit more, the shape of it looks okay. It's kind of mid. I don't know. It looks all right. I don't know. The tip at least is interesting enough for me to care at least slightly a bit about it. And then after we have Samurai Saber, probably the most hype release out of the three, at least in my opinion, just because one, I absolutely love the blader Tenka Shiraboshi. I think she has a very cool design. I like the shark teeth that she has, and the Bey looks really cool. The color scheme of it's supposed to kind of being a reference to a sakura forest, the pink and the green. I believe at the start of the match, the blades of it are supposed to be like exposed out, so you're in the one-hit kill mode. But afterwards, I guess through the end of the battle, the shit goes in, and then after it retracts a little bit more of a rounder shape. It's an interesting idea where like your attack is the strongest at the start, then after at the end you kind of slightly change the shape. It's an interesting gimmick. I don't really think it sounds effective. I just think what's carrying the blade is less the gimmick and more the shape. It looks pretty aggressive. Like I would say this should probably maybe be good for KOing opponents. Now, one of the big L's in Samurai Saber is the 270. 270 is a shit ratchet. Well, technically it's not out yet, but two sides is the worst sides. They burst so much. The bit is called level. As far as I can tell, there are 3 different levels and I guess 3 different types of acceleration that it can do. So I'm curious to see when you're launching with this bit, how it's going to work in battle for strategies for speed. Lastly, we have our new launcher, which this is super cool. Not only do we get a rubber grip, rubber grip, which I'm very happy to see. But even the winder is like a smidgen longer, so that's gonna be like teensy bit more power you're gonna probably get out of that than like your regular winder launchers. Really cool. I love the theme of this. Everything about this is just like, it seems so cool. I like it. I hope the Bey doesn't perform like ass, because if it does, it's really gonna kill it for me. I still want to use the blade though. Next up is the UX10 Customized Set U. We get a variant of Knight finally for the UX version. Felt like so long just waiting to actually see it, and I am pleased looking at this. This set has so much going on. First of all, the blade of Knight's Mail, and the namesake, by the way, is supposed to be like chainmail armor, but the Knight blade's supposed to have metal balls that kind of move vertically. What I'm assuming this is supposed to do is supposed to be a combination of 2 things. One, where it's supposed to hold a position in the stadium, but also take big hits in battle. I think it's an interesting idea. I definitely do think the blade looks aggressive in shape. To be fair for defense isn't, it's whatever TT calls it. They make a super aggressive design shaped blade, they call it defense. I'm very curious to maybe see a taper or a point bit maybe with this blade. That could be pretty interesting. We do also get a new ratchet 385. So it's kind of funny that we kind of got like 5 now above the 80 height. So now this is the tallest ratchet as of the time of this recording, which is really crazy. Now there's other stuff like BS. It's not bullshit. It is bound spike. So from my understanding for how this is supposed to work, it has a longer jagged shaft on the bit, and then after I guess it's supposed to like shock absorb when like you're attacking it. I think the idea here is this is supposed to like maximize you getting attacked and trying to hold your defense position, which again, they gotta be creative with this, so I can't really hate. Now, some of the other cool stuff actually is that we actually get the TT reprint of the Hasbro exclusive, where I gotta explain this. Okay, Hasbro goes to Kiritomi, they say, okay, we'll work together on concepts and ideas. Can you help design us some filler content? So then after TT does all these little exclusives that are just like echoes of previously existing bays. For an example, Talon Terra was an echo that's a Viper Tail. Now they've changed the name of this to now Terra Swing. So the thing is with the Terra Blade is that it's not really good for stamina. If you're gonna be using it, it's gonna be super, super good for attack. Well, not crazy good, but like decently good for attack. It's a little bit hard to use. You have to hard launch on an angle, but I generally think it can destabilize opponents and has some pretty decent upper. It's a good modification. Now, some other parts you get in this are 770. I think that's going to be pretty cool to see for maybe attack and defense. I think that's nice. 160 is nice. But let's go over to some of the other stuff before I kind of move on to the bits, because we have a beautiful looking Hell's Hammer with metal coat blue, which I thought that's super. They could have just easily given us a regular bay without any of the coats, but the fact that they did this I think is really nice. I think Hammer is a little bit mid. I don't really like it, but I think it's nice that they included it. Also, Tyranno Beats with a red metal coat red, whatever, that's awesome. Tyranno Beats a super solid balance type blade. And let's just get to the bits. Okay, so the only bits that I think are really shit that I included was Metal Needle. No, that's about it, Metal Needle. Dude, okay, you get ball, you get point, solid bit choices. Not only that, you get a red rush bit. With rush is, I would arguably say, is one of the best bits to use for attack. It's controlled, it's super, super good for most attackers to use, but not only that, they threw in, they didn't even have to do this, Rubber XL. What? So I'm super, super excited for this, and I'll kind of do a little bit more of an in-depth breakdown, but why I like Rubber XL, it's going to help a lot of attackers that can't handle their own recoil be able to actually control it a little bit better in battle. So I think overall, with all this news and information, I would probably say this is the most exciting thing since like March UX for like actual content, because I feel like UX was like this big shift. I do feel definitely like some of these months there were hype releases or parts that did pretty well, maybe really exciting, but this I feel like the most exciting for Beyblade X, because not only do we have bays that have gimmicks, and by the way, if you're new here, subscribe to the channel and comment your thoughts. I feel like if you were hating on Beyblade X or you were complaining the TT didn't do these no gimmicks, this sucks, like listen, patience is great, because now when we get all this content it feels very rewarding, but I just hit my hand. Thank you for watching. Mall Bays is the plug. Mall Bays is the plug. What are you most excited for? Saber, Garuda, Male. I get the namesake, but now I don't like saying, oh, that's Male. Thank you for watching. That's going to be it for now. That's how we're going to end off the video. Me being confused on a name. Alright, take care and bye.